I'm Sam from Sheridan Computers. I'm going to go through how to install Arch Linux. People seem to think it's quite hard to install. It's actually fairly simple. Even though it's kind of got an odd install process, it doesn't have a traditional installer. Before I do that, if you'd like to hire us, head across to our website at sheridan.co.uk and click on the Hire Us button. We're available for hire for any IT-related projects. If you like this video, please take the time to hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. If you hit the notifications icon, you will receive notifications of any new videos as they are released. So, the first thing we are going to want to do is to actually download Arch. So, but download Arch Linux, so go across to archlinux.org, download, scroll down to the download location for your country. I'm in the UK, so let me see if I can find that. Where is it? We're in the UK, so I'll go ahead and get it from UK Fast. The one that I want is just the standard ISO, which is 766 meg. So I'm going to go ahead and download that. Okay, that's downloaded, so I'm doing this on a virtual machine. It makes no difference what you're doing it on. Let me go ahead and pull this over. So we want the standard Arch Linux install. So, this is the installer. I'm going to do this with a cable plug-in. I recommend you do the same. It's easier than messing about with Wi-Fi. I recommend that on whichever flavour of Linux you're installing. So, first thing you're going to want to do is check your key maps right. For example, I'm in the UK and my keyboard's the wrong way around. So we're going to go keys UK. Check you have an internet connection if you've got the cable plugged in. So in this case I do. So we've loaded the key map, date, time, wrong way around, time, date, CTL, set NTP true. So that's just set the time right. So the next thing we want to look at is the disks. So if you do ls blk for ls block, you can list your block devices. So as you can see, I have SDA, which is just an 8 gig disk, which I've created for this purpose. So if you need to wipe the partitions off it, you can do fdisk dev SDA in this case, M for help, and G is to write a new empty partition table. To do that, W basically just clears the disk if you've got anything on it. Next thing that we're going to want to do is to actually create some partitions. So if we use cf disk, so it's showing us a free space that we've got, so we need to create some partitions. So the first one I'm going to create is going to new, and I want a 256 meg partition, and the type I'm going to change this to EFI. Obviously I'm using an EFI installation here. We're going to create the boot partition as well. So I've got to new, I'm going to do this as 512 meg. Type, we're going to leave that as Linux for the moment, and then for the last partition I'm just going to do new. Do it the full size of the disk, then we can write that. So are you sure you want to write the partition table to the disk? Type yes or no. So yes, so that's written successfully. We'll go ahead and quit out of that. So we've created our partitions. You could have created a swap partition if you wanted to. I'm just going to do it as a file in this case. Normally I do it because I've got plenty of RAM in my system anyway. So the next thing that we're going to want to do is to go ahead and create the format of the partitions properly. So I'm going to do make fs vfat -n EFI system. That'll do. /dev, and this was SDA1, as you can see at the top of the screen. So now I need to go ahead make a first, I'll do this as ext4. And minus L, give it a label for boot, and this is going to be dev SDA2. And then I'm going to want to do the last one, which is make fs ext4 this L root, and we're going to do dev SDA3 and do that as a full size of the disk. It's just saying that it has partitions installed on it because I did have. Once we've done that, so it's, for encryption support, we need to do mod probe dmcrypt, and then mod probe dmmod. So with that, we can now go ahead and set up our Lux encryption. So we can now go ahead and encrypt the root partition. So crypt setup, Lux format, -v -s 512, hash is SHA 512. I'm going to do /dev SDA3. So, do you want to overwrite everything? Yes. Missing argument. Just say type it in capital letters. So, doing capital letters, stick in your password. So that just takes a couple of seconds. Once you've done that, then we can go ahead and mount the partition. So, crypt setup, and then want to open the device. For dev SDA3, which it was in my case, I'm just going to call it Arch Linux. Put in the passcode. So we should now have that in dev mapper. So yes, we do. So we need to format this partition. So this is going to be our main partition. So make fs. Now here you can do ext4, for example. And just carry on that way. Now I want to do it as BTRFS, so I can use a utility called timeshift to make backup snapshots before I do system upgrades. So I'm going to do make BTRFS as root dev mapper Arch Linux. So now we have that formatted. So we can go ahead and mount that. So mount st BTRFS dev mapper Arch Linux. I'll mount it to mount. Right, because I'm doing this as BTRFS, and because I want some, I'm going to use timeshift. We need subvolumes. So let's go ahead and create those subvolumes. So I'm going to mount BTRFS subvolume, create root, so mount. So I've created root, and I want home, and I want snapshots. So we have home, root, and we have snapshots. So I'm going to unmount everything there. And I need to basically remount the subvolume instead of the root subvolume instead of the partition that we mounted. So mount -t BTRFS minus O is going to be subvol equals root dev mapper Arch Linux, and put it back to root. There's a mount, sorry. So now, as you can see, we're sat in the subvolume. So go ahead and create the other ones. Let's mount the other ones. So I want to mount home to home. Get some directors for him. And the snapshots. So it is easier to install this if you're not using BTRFS. It's pretty much straightforward. The only thing you need to remember when you're doing BTRFS is you need to create subvolumes, unmount everything, then remount the subvolumes. So now we can go ahead and create our boot directory. Nope. So I'll make the mount boot EFI, and then we can let's block. So we have SDA1, SDA2. SDA1 was the EFI, and SDA2 was the boot. So mount /dev SDA2. So I'm going to mount our boot volume to /mount boot, and then our EFI. I'm going to mount that on boot EFI. So that will allow us to create the directory for that. Make the mount boot EFI, and then we can mount SDA1, which is the EFI, to boot EFI, which will allow us to do the grub install.
Why did you?
As I mentioned earlier, I didn't bother creating a swap partition. I'm just going to do that as a file. So let's go ahead and create that real quick. If input interface equals /dev0, output file equals swap, block size equals 1 meg, and count equals 1024. So that'll give us a 1 gig swap file. So now we can do make swap, and then swap on swap. Change the file permissions for that. Now at this stage we're ready to go ahead and install as usual, which is pacstrap and the components we want to install. So pacstrap, I mount. I want to install base devel, EFI boot manager. We need grub. Anything else that you want to install at this stage, you can do it here. I'm going to do network manager. Vim. I think that'll do us for there. Linux. I don't want Linux firmware. So that'll go ahead now and extract that to a Linux system. So enter a selection. I'm going to do all. Yep, 1. Go ahead. Okay, that's done. Next stage is to generate our FS tab. So gen FS tab. I'm going to generate from mount. Sorry. Minus U, generate it from mount, and that's mount, etc. FS tab. So that's generated. At this stage, we can pretty much chroot into our system. So arch chroot mount. So the first thing we're going to do is to change the root password. So go ahead and give yourself a root password. And now there's just a few changes that we need to make for locale and things. So we've set the root password, VI, etc. We need to edit the locale.gem file. Oh, didn't install VI, did I? Let's do Vim. Which is why I said install the commands that you're going to need using packstrap. I didn't install VI at that stage, but I did do Vim, so that's good. Set your language, so I want ENGB. GB capital letters. So the one that you want to uncomment the language for you, but you want the UTF-8 version usually. So uncomment it, and then at that stage we can go ahead and generate the locale. Okay, so that's done. So now we need to echo ENGB to echo lang equals ENGB, put that in etc locale.conf, and set the key map. So I want echo key map equals UK, and we're going to put that in etc vconsole.conf to set the key maps for us. The next thing we want to do is to set the time zone properly. So lnss and its user share zone info, and then your time zone. So Europe, London for me. You want to link that to etc local time. We need to adjust the hardware clock settings. So hardware clock -6 to hardware clock. Set this to UTC. So enables the hardware clock. Set the host name. So I'll just give this echo arch to etc host name. Once we've set the host name, we need to set the actual host file up. So we'll insert vim etc hosts. So by default, there's no host settings. We're going to need 127.0.0.1 to set that up for localhost, and then arch. So you call it whatever you called your machine name at this point. I call mine arch, so let's put that in there, and then do the IPv6 localhost arch. So that sets up our host file. So there's a couple of changes we need to make to the grub config because we're using encrypted file system. So we're going to etc defaults grub. This line here, grub Linux command, we need to enter crypt device equals dev SDA3 was what I used, and then whatever you want to name it. So I'm going to that's true. It's Linux, so that needs to be in there. So grub knows where the crypt device is. And we also need to make changes to etc. to make init cpio.conf. And the part that we're looking for here is the hooks. So again, we need to tell that we're using an encrypted file system. So under the hooks line, after block in here, we want to insert encrypt. Then with that, go ahead and run make init cpio p linux. No, 2 minutes, son. So now we need to install grub, which is why we mounted the drive locations that we did on boot and boot EFI. So if we do grub install minus boot directory, we set that to boot. We need to do minus EFI directory and set that to boot EFI. And we write that to dev SDA2, which SDA2 is our standard boot, so that writes grub to there. Now we need to go ahead and edit the grub config. So, sorry, make the grub config. So grub make config, and then minus O to output the file to boot grub.config. And we need to write the EFI one, so that's going to be make config minus O, and then that's boot /EFI arch and grub.config. That, I believe, is our installation set up. So if we go ahead and exit out of that, and let's reboot. So, being prompted for our passphrase. Our login prompt. So go ahead. And now you can log in with a minimal install of Arch Linux. So you're going to need to add a user. So user add, I'm going to M to create the directory. I'm going to set the directory to home, S Sheridan, user add, home, S Sheridan. The defaults are fine for the rest. Set a password for it. So we've done that. Actually, user mod, I forgot to add it into the wheel group. So I want to put in there. Let's go ahead and log back in as our non-privileged user. So that's fine. It's just asking for the password for sudo. And then you go ahead and just jump to root. I want to edit the sudo's file. Yeah. So VIPW sudo is login as root to do this. Sorry. VI sudo. This is why I should have installed VM in the beginning. Let's go ahead and just install VI, sorry. So pacman minus S, that's capital S, VI, I'll go ahead and install VI for me. This is why I installed Network Manager on startup during the PAX drop. Because when you boot the system, Network Manager isn't running and you have no internet access. So what we want to do is systemctl enable Network Manager. And then go ahead and start it. That should go ahead and give us internet access. So it's important that you install that at the beginning on during the PAX drop stage. So vi sudo, let's go and edit the sudo's file. Install vi, which is what I was doing in the first place. edit the sudo file. Basically, I want to scroll down to this line that says, where is it? You can set your sudos up here for how it works. So I'm just going to set this up to, if you uncomment this line, it'll allow members of the wheel group to execute any command. If you execute the one underneath it, it's the same thing but without needing a password. Which is what I want. If I log out as root now and log back in as myself, and sudo ls, we can now run root commands. So this is a very basic Arch install. You've got it installed, you've got your encrypted partitions. The next thing I imagine that you're going to want to do is to install a desktop manager. I'm going to go with KDE Plasma. I'm not a fan of GNOME really, so I'll go ahead and install Plasma. To do that, very simple, pacman -s Plasma. It's a sudo. So you choose what you want to install. I'm going to go ahead and do all. Proceed with the installation, and that will run off and install KDE Plasma for us. So that's gone off and installed Plasma for us. The next thing we need to install is sudo pacman -s sddm, so you can start up into Plasma automatically. Go ahead and do that. Once we've done that, we need to enable it. So sudo systemctl enable sddm. Once we've done that, at this point, we're pretty much ready to go. If we reboot, it'll reboot into the desktop. But it is a completely minimal install of KDE. So you have the option here, if you want to do a full install with all the whistles and bells and applications that come with it, you can do pacman -s KDE applications. That'll go ahead and basically install everything for you. If you don't want to do that, I'd recommend installing the console at least. So you can access the console. We will do the KDE applications just for this demo, might as well. So -s KDE applications. Basic gives you the choice of what you want to install. You can go ahead and you can see from there's many options, or you can go ahead and install them all. Off you go. That went ahead, and I ran out of disk space because they only created an 8 gig partition. I was only going to go through how to get the initial install done, not to do the Plasma install. As it happens, I had enough space to do the Plasma, just not the applications. Well, let's go ahead and reboot. We should, and we did enable SDDM, didn't I? Yep. So go ahead and reboot. Stick your password in. And there we have Plasma up and running. So as I mentioned, one thing I do like about Arch Linux is that it's a very small install. There's really not much to do on here, which is why I recommended that you install the console. That's pretty much it for installing Arch. Get rid of that real quick. That's it, up and running. One thing that you probably do want on Manjaro and things, there's an add remove programs. There isn't on Arch. I'll just go ahead and show you how to install that real quick. Just pause that to find the GitHub link. Okay, just finding the link on GitHub for that. So, need to make sure we've got the minimum requires in, -s, but needed, base devel, which we've got, we need git, we need wget, and we need that. Hopefully I don't run out of room while I'm doing this. Into temp directory, and then we can git clone, and then there you are, archlinux.org, package query, .git. So we've got that, go into the package query, do make package -si. Make this a bit bigger so we can see this. So I've installed that section, so the next thing we need to do is install, I'm not even sure how you say this, I think it's Yart or whatever it is. Back to temp directory, and we're going to git clone https AUR archlinux.org YAOURT. I think that's it. Git. That was probably right. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so cd into Yart. Again, make package -si. Good, not run out of space yet. So that's installed that for us, which is another pacman type of thing. You'll probably want to edit to sudo vim etc pacman.conf and enable, where is it, multi-lib, which gives us some extra install locations. Once you've done that, update pacman, which gives us the extra repositories. That's just handy, you'll probably find yourself needing that. The last thing to do to install the, I can remember how to spell this, to install the pamac, as it's called, which is the GUI for pacman, just do Yart -s pamac AUR. Unsupported package, potentially dangerous. Edit package build, I don't want to edit the build. Yeah, proceed with install. Don't want to edit it. Continue the install. Don't run out of space. Continue with installing, yeah. So that's it. And luckily I didn't run out of space. So you'll notice that I've managed to do this install with literally on an 8 gig partition. Probably should have created a bit bigger than that. Let's go ahead and close that. So now if we're going to add remove prot software, if you've used Manjaro, you'll be familiar with this. It always does this on me where you can't really read it properly. Let me just go into system settings real quick. Global theme, I want to put it down to dark. Plasma style, breeze dark, that's fine. So now if we're going to add remove programs, add remove software, add remove programs, talking Windows. We can see software that we've got installed. If we've got any updates available, your system's up to date. And if we're going to preferences here, stick your password in. You can choose to automatically download updates. Hide the system tray when there's no update available. Check for disk space and stuff. You don't really need to edit anything there. Now AUR, this is your Arch user repositories, and this is one of the benefits of Arch. You'll notice, I've turned that off for a second. Under install locations, we've got you know, if you want to install, you've got installed, and you've got repositories, which are the official repositories. So if you want to install OBS, you can find it in there. The Arch user repositories, if we're going to turn them on. Oh yeah. I know I'm running out of space. Shut up. So we turn that on, and we'll now get the AUR here. So we can install straight from the Arch user repositories as well, which gives us a lot more locations and a lot more software that we can install, and that is one of the benefits. As I've said in the past, I've done a video on how to install Manjaro, again using encryption. I'm a fan of encrypting operating systems. So Manjaro comes like everything out of the box. It comes with everything installed, so you've got the pamac GUI installed and things like that. Arch is very much do it as you want. It comes as a very minimal install, and you just basically install what you need. Once you've got the pamac GUI installed, pamac, you can install things as you see fit. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the notifications icon. You will receive notifications of any videos as they are released. And as I mentioned, we're always available for hire. If you head across to our website at sheridan.co.uk, click on the Hire Us button, leave some details on what you're looking for. I will get back to you where we can help. Till next time.